Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Always a good day. We have our friends in from the VAPA Foundation. We could have these guys on every single day and every night, and we still wouldn't cover probably 1/10 of what they do. There's magnificent stuff joining us is Michael Camacho, VAPA Foundation Executive Director. Joining us a little bit into the show will be Dr. Brittany Daly, the principal at Hamilton Elementary School. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well. Thank you so for asking.
How long have you been executive director?
2 years now.
2 years now. Okay, very good. And where did you come from? Did you come from the schools?
No, I come from the nonprofit world. I got my master's in University of San Diego, nonprofit leadership and management.
Great program. Excellent. And what other nonprofits did you work for?
Catholic Diocese of San Diego,
Right.
Children of Immaculate Heart, all sorts in the health and human services.
Oh, very, very good. So what got you into Visual Performing Arts Foundation?
You know, I saw the job post show up right around when COVID started. It sounded like a good way for me to apply everything I learned at University of San Diego, really apply all the skills that I learned there. And
Sure.
I applied and they took me.
Right. Now, do you have any background in visual performing arts as a kid, as a student, as an adult?
I would say I'm an amateur at best in a lot of
Very good,
arts.
very good. You sing in the shower or something like
Exactly.
that. Yeah. And who doesn't like visual performing arts in general? Now, the VAPA Foundation pretty much works with San Diego city schools. Obviously, you work with other schools in the county, but it's housed under San Diego Unified School District, correct?
That is correct.
Right. And the funding comes from the school district itself, or do you still have to raise funds by grants and donations? How does that work?
It's 100% funded by grants and philanthropy.
Oh, is that right? So, okay, very good. So not necessarily through the school district, correct?
That is correct.
Oh, interesting. Okay, very, very good. And there's certainly a lot of, you work with NEA and stuff, National Education, or National, the arts groups back in D.C. and stuff?
Yes, I want to develop those relationships as well. Right now, I'm only connected to City of San Diego's Arts and Culture Commission and the California Art Council. Right.
Well, that sounds terrific. So what is the mission of the foundation?
The mission of the VAPA Foundation, stands for Visual and Performing Arts, is to enhance art education, the quality of and access to art education for San Diego Unified School District.
Right. And is that done by, when you raise your funds, is that by maybe hiring, sort of itinerant teachers or artists to go into the classroom, whether they're teaching poetry or music or playwriting and so forth?
I would say that really it's about enhancement, that the school districts do fund positions for artists teachers to teach art.
Right.
And so what I'm here to do is provide them support outside of the budget grants.
Yeah, much has been written, of course, over the years that, that visual performing arts, there's been a cut in that as the focus has been on STEM. Fortunately, they're getting the A back in that, or getting it into it for STEAM. We all know that you can teach any subject area through visual performing arts, whether it's math, science, physics, history, social studies, language arts, pick a topic and you can teach it through that. Are you seeing a lot more of that, the integrated connection between the content areas, subject areas, and VAPA?
Sure. I mean, if we're talking about physical education, when you think physical education, one of them is dance.
Right.
And if you think about English, Shakespeare is taught in English class, and that also falls under theater.
Theater, history, what was going on at the time, what type of entertainment they had, what type of leisure time they had in 3000 BC. I mean, it's just, it doesn't stop. And then I imagine that, the content area teachers probably enjoy working with the VAPA teachers, do they not?
I believe so, yes. Well, they always welcome the music teachers who come in and teach music for.
Right. But again, you can do everything all over the board in that aspect of it. Talk about what collaborations do you have with different arts groups in the city?
Sure. One of our big ones is what we did over the summer, the Level Up camps, where we partnered with a bunch of art organizations to put together collaborative art camp programs.
Exactly.
So some of the organizations that got involved with that was the Old Globe, San Diego Youth Symphony, and we tried to provide all of the different art disciplines: theater, music, dance, and visual arts.
Right, and Level Up, of course, came from the San Diego Foundation. I know a lot of groups work together on that, and I think they've done it for 2 summers, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure if they're going to be doing it again next summer, but hopefully they will. And we did shout that out, I think, in a previous Spotlight on the Community show. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years. I am chatting with Michael Camacho. He's the executive director of the VAPA Foundation, soon to be joined by a colleague of his, Dr. Brittany Daly, principal of Hamilton Elementary School. You work with students not just in grades K-5, it's K-12, is it not?
That is correct, primary and secondary.
Right, exactly. And, certainly Hamilton is one of the groups that you work with as well. But you support, are you in every single school in San Diego Unified or just some of them?
The target is to support all the schools in the district.
Right, there's only so many people. How many folks work with you and the foundation?
Right now, there's only one other staff member, but I work very closely with the Visual and Performing Arts Department within the district.
Right, exactly, yeah, at the central office. Right. Mm-hmm. And then how about the VAPA division at the County Office of Education?
I know the coordinator there,
right.
And we talk all the time.
Right, and so is there collaboration? Are there different programs you guys are doing together?
Yes, actually, our next one is our arts and music collaboration happening at San Diego Park and Market next Thursday, really to recruit the next generation of art educators. No,
I think that's terrific. And Park and Market, we've been honored to shout them out on our Spotlight show. Of course, UCSD runs that. It literally is at Park and Market. And I know Malin Burnham, the longtime philanthropist in San Diego County, has got a footprint there. And I know a lot of great organizations. I think Classroom of the Future Foundation, which I'm affiliated with, is thinking of being a little more active in that area. No, that's great. Park and Market is really putting a footprint in that area, and for all the good reason. What's the Makers Art Program?
The Makers Art Program is a program where one of our art partners, called Rainforest Art Project, creates mosaics, permanent installations that stay in those schools. So, for example, and Dr. Brittany can talk about this more. One of the things we created was a sign, a library sign, that is permanently installed at Hamilton Elementary now.
And so with that, would you say the kids that are exposed to the foundation and all this business, you're teaching them obviously grade level, type of concepts, of course. So they're in kindergarten, they're going to learn this in first grade, second grade, and so forth in that area. How much of the foundation, is providing equipment? Maybe it's instruments, maybe it's painting, maybe it's God knows what it is. Is that pretty much what you fund, other than what the district can support from their central office?
I would say we do a lot of support in that regard. Really, we're here to connect the community to the school district. One of the things that we did recently was an art supply drive. We were able to bring in about $400,000 worth of in-kind art supplies.
That's great.
That we distributed to 30 schools.
And now, did that come from the general public, or did it come from different organizations, or all of the above?
I would say it was a corporate gift.
Okay. It was a gift then to purchase it. But do you actually put a call out to folks who may have some art supplies at home and they're cleaning out their garage, whatever? Obviously, you don't want things that are broken and all that, but they may have some easels, they may have some canvases, they may have whatever the case may be.
Yes, exactly. And we've done that before. Like during COVID, we made art supply kits to serve a need for really children who come from families of need.
Right.
Underserved communities. And he put together these art supply kits, sent it to their homes so that they could do things like their actual assignments.
Right, exactly. So there's a sort of a selfish question for it. My mom was an artist. And so she painted in oils and in watercolors. None of it rubbed off on me. Michael, I could barely do a stick figure, for God's sake. But so Mom passed away a few years ago, but I have all her paintings, the ones that she didn't sell in her gallery. Is that something you guys can use? I mean, they're already done. They're already framed. Is it something you can use to show people what they've done, or maybe even take I hate to say this, Mom, but maybe they can take the painting out and use the frames. Can you use that?
Of course. We do art exhibits, and obviously we need all sorts of supplies. But in addition to that, last week we had an art auction to raise money for outgoing seniors to pursue fine arts degrees.
So what I'd love to do is we'll do this offline. Would love to have you or whomever from the foundation come up, and I'll give you a whole bunch of paintings that she has. They're all good. She's a pretty good artist, But if that's you can use the frames. If you can use that to raise money and say that she was, an award-winning artist, and she was. If that helps, then that'd be great.
Yes, we'd greatly appreciate that.
Consider that a done deal. I'm going to make a note of that in that aspect of it. Talk about, grants that are given to teachers to pursue some creative projects that they do.
Sure. Well, we just closed one of our programs, and by close, I mean we closed the application.
Okay.
We're going to announce today who we're going to be funding for this round.
Okay.
But our VAPA Enhancement program is going to fund $63,000 worth of grants, and teachers applied for all sorts of things. They applied for guest artists to come in and enhance the classroom experience with all sorts of programming.
Sure.
And some of those organizations that are coming in they're all sorts of arts disciplines. People like Guitars in the Classroom and Malshock Dance. They could also apply for professional development. One of our people actually applied to be in a VR program. So it'll be amazing to have a VR expert within the district.
Right. Let me ask you about this. Again, we're chatting with Michael Camacho. He's the executive director of the VAPA Foundation. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing terrific things in San Diego for more than 60 years. Talk about how in your world that technology has played a big part and it evolved. I'm 100 years older than you are, Michael, of course. And back in the day, you're dealing with the basics, and now you've got probably digital pens. I don't know what I'm even talking about. Computers, graphics, and all this. Talk about how technology certainly is taking a big footprint in VAPA.
Sure, I'd be happy to share. Well, one of the things is there's actually just so you know, VAPA is named after the California Arts Standards, Visual and Performing Arts.
Right.
We actually have a new art discipline. Originally, there were only 4, music, theater, dance, and visual arts. We've created a 5th called media arts. And that covers things like film and animation and, sort of computer gaming creation.
No, I think, listen, that's what the kids are. And this is the generation that grew up with a cell phone probably attached to the umbilical cord, for God's sake, and very, very different. And you're right. I think it fits in the space of so many different groups. My former profession in journalism, of course, is all over this type of digital, programming, of course, for getting the word out from a journalistic standpoint in that area. So on that vein, before we go to break, with the technology, and technology can be pretty expensive in that aspect of it. A lot of the grants go toward that. Is it to devices? Is it to software? All of the above?
It can be. Like one of the things that someone else applied for was a 3D printer. And I know there's also a computer animation program that someone else applied for. So we fund all art disciplines. Right.
When we come back from break, we're going to continue the conversation with Michael Camacho. He's the executive director of the VAPA Foundation, housed at San Diego Unified School District. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are guardedly optimistic that we're going to have his colleague, Dr. Brittany Daly, come in from the second half of the show, and she's the principal of Hamilton Elementary School. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are back with Michael Camacho, Executive Director of the VAPA Foundation. And you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union in our beautiful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed's been bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years, talking about how the foundation is trying to enhance the quality and access to arts education in the San Diego Unified School District. But of course, because of their collaborations with other 42 school districts around the county, everyone benefits on this. I'm talking about some of their grant raising and so forth. But the big events you have, a lot of them come up in the spring. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what is your signature event?
Our signature event is actually our gala, Beyond Brilliance, where actually students get to have their work displayed, exhibits for the visual arts, but really for the performance arts, they get to perform on stage.
Right, that's nice. And I see there's a Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation, one of the all-time great movies, to say the least, in that I've only seen it 105 times, so I'll finally get it. So that'll be great as it is. How many kids actually participate in programs that the VAPA Foundation is involved in?
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm
going to say thousands, but we have all sorts.
Do you work with junior theater and groups like that?
Yes, I have conversations with them, yes.
Right, exactly, and all the other groups. And you just talked about Level Up, which was doing some summer camp programs, of course. Do you do a lot of after-school programs during the school year?
Yeah, usually things like dance programming and theater programming.
Right. Is there a certain part of VAPA that is more popular than others, or it's just really all over the board? You mentioned you added sort of media literacy, for lack of a better term, as the fifth leg in this area. Is there more that kids are gravitating to these days than they were in the past?
I would say music is always music and visual arts are sort of the two popular ones.
Right. Okay. And more so than the performing arts is not as popular?
Well, if you think about it, dance, like the type of people who like dance. But yeah, I think in second grade, both genders can really enjoy it. But as they get older, then some kids might feel weird about doing dance in front of others.
No, I understand. Absolutely. So talk about, you've got this Fiddle Fest going on. What's that about?
Yes, actually, one of the things we do is, from the equitable lens, is give students from across the district, San Diego Unified School District, the chance to perform in front of the public. So they've been in rehearsal for the past couple weeks, and what'll happen is on November 18th, they get to perform at Claremont High School in front of everybody. And it really is from the equitable lens. People from like the beginner level all the way to advanced level, we have a music sheet for them.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up equity, which I know is certainly in the DNA of anyone that's involved in VAPA, whether it's the foundation at San Diego Unified or it's VAPA throughout the County Office of Education. Literally, visual and performing arts is an equalizer. It levels the playing field, and there's not a person, no matter what they look like, where they came from, what they do, and that cannot participate in it. And I think that's one of the great things that you folks do, and it's bringing back some of this empathy that seems to be missing. Talk about how important that is.
The importance of empathy.
Yeah.
I would say it's a big part that you need a heart for the people who are underserved and less fortunate than you. In San Diego Unified School District alone, yes, there's a lot of Title I schools, but
Correct.
One of the things that I want to see happen is really connecting students that don't come from Title I schools to
Absolutely.
the underserved communities, to see that, yes, these are part of my community too, and that that we need to work together, and that we're just one people.
Well, and I think what's so important about that, and it's all throughout it. You talk about cultures, you talk about understanding, learning about different areas as well, which is something, as we mentioned, we need to do a lot more about in this country, or this world, for that aspect of it. And do you find that what the beauty of VAPA is that it might get that kid who doesn't want to speak so much in the class in an academic setting, but will just thrive in a performance art? Talk about that.
Yes, actually, it's funny you mention that, but sometimes children are shy or timid, and they don't really
So are
express
adults sometimes, Michael.
Bottom line, perhaps word is not their way of expressing themselves. That's why we have the visual arts, and that's why we have theater and dance, so that they have other ways to express themselves and what's on their mind and what's in their hearts.
Right, exactly. What other things you'd like to talk about that you want our listeners to know?
Sure. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have one of the things that Beyond Brilliance allows is, besides having these students perform, is really have the community support VAPA programming. It is our version of a gala. It's a student performance, but we invite you to come buy a ticket and watch these kids perform.
Right. And how do they get connected to that? They just go to vapafoundation.org, or they contact you? How do you do that?
Right now, they'd have to contact me because we haven't created the ticketing page yet.
Okay, very good. They'll contact Michael Camacho. You'll find him at San Diego Unified. Are you in the district office on Normal Street? Where's your offices?
My office is closer to Linda Vista, just down the street from University of San Diego. But I have been to the Normal Street office.
Yeah, right. Of course, that's where I worked before there was running water for that aspect of it. So what can our listeners do to support your efforts? What can we do?
Well, besides coming to the Beyond Brilliance Gala, please visit our website. Donate whatever you can, in-kind supplies. We don't just take art supplies, consumable. We also take non-consumable art supplies, such as instruments. So we have at least one person in the district whose job it is to repair.
Oh, nice.
Repair instruments. So it's not impossible for you to just give us something that's
not
somewhat
quite
workable.
working right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You don't want to chopped in half, right? Exactly. But somewhat workable on that aspect of it. And sorry that Brittany couldn't join us. Brittany Daly is the principal of Hamilton Elementary School. Maybe you can spend just a couple minutes talking about what goes on at her school.
Sure. So at Hamilton Elementary, there's a lot of things that happen at Hamilton Elementary. But how we're supporting Hamilton Elementary is we're bringing Rainforest Art Project to their site. So one of the things they do is they have a curriculum that they present to teachers to teach to these children. They also supply these teachers with art supply material so that they could follow this curriculum. The other thing that they do is what has already been mentioned, the Makers Project, and really giving these kids the opportunity to design and create permanent art that will be at that school forever.
Right. So if someone is listening to the show and one of their kids has happened to go to one of the San Diego Unified School District schools, and hey, I want to get my school involved in this, do they just contact you again, and then you can connect them to the principal and vice versa?
Yes, exactly. And Hamilton's not the only school that's receiving this. There's 6 other schools in City Heights, and I believe also Perkins in Logan is also has this
Barrio Logan,
Barrio Logan.
We work with Perkins quite a bit in our Classroom of the Future Foundation. We're chatting with Michael Camacho. He's the Executive Director of the VAPA Foundation. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Any final comments? What can we do for you?
Oh, well, thank you so much. I would say just continue supporting the arts. Vote, I don't know if, I can say vote yes to Prop 28, because that will bring, really that'll fund the next generation of art educators. And it's been a long time since we've funded really art positions in schools. I would say it's been 40 years since we've done anything to this capacity.
Inexcusable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can say that, and you can say that, and I think everybody else can say that. We're sitting to my right is one of the iconic superintendents of San Diego County, Tim Baird, and we're going to chat about a whole bunch of stuff he's involved in, but I know he's a big VAPA fan as well. Michael Camacho, just absolutely enjoyed the interview, and promise you'll come back on.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Why don't we bring somebody back on with you, a teacher that has been funded by some of the VAPA programs and what he or she has done, maybe bring a couple of them on, and they can talk about how they've executed some of the programs based on the money you've raised for them.
Perfect. I'd love to.
Well, we'll consider that a done deal. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for more than 60 years. We've been enjoying the conversation with Michael Camacho, Executive Director of the VAPA Foundation.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.